Hello and welcome to our College Bound Confidence free video series. In this first video, I'm going to outline the 4 key principles for successful college planning. Download the PDF so you can follow along and maybe take a few notes as we go. You know, the college admissions process can be a source of fear, frustration, pain, and even panic for so many families, but it doesn't have to be. And the problem is not a lack of information or opinions. The problem is a lack of clarity and insight. There's so many stories in the media, doom and gloom about how you'll never get into any colleges, and even if you do, you'll never be able to afford it. And there's so many well-meaning friends and relatives telling you about what they think is a good school because they went there 30 years ago, or their niece went there, or their niece's friend. And the people that really need to communicate the most about this, the parent and the students, oh my gosh, there's so many problems, so much baggage, and that can be a real problem. College Bound Confidence is an online community that provides exactly that clarity and insight that you need so you can get to college with less stress, less mess, and way more confidence. Let me paint a picture of what a really healthy, engaging, and even enjoyable college planning process can look like. Open, productive dialogue that helps families move towards the colleges that work best for them. Clarity about the number one thing that you need to gain out of college and the tools to find the colleges that line up with that. And a full understanding of college costs before we have to make the decision. And even a budget that makes sense for our family and lets us know what is and isn't affordable. If that sounds too good to be true, it's not. But most families don't apply these principles. So let's look at the first one. Number one is start early. Too many families wait too long, and they don't do anything because they don't know how to do everything. They take kind of a passive wait and see approach. Just the other day, a high school freshman named Emma came in with her dad, and her dad had called me in advance to say, I know it's kind of early, but do you mind if we come in for a free consult? I said, no, it's not too early, and starting early really sets us up for more success. And at the beginning, I don't even think Emma knew why she was there, but maybe she was just promised free frozen yogurt after this or something. But we had a great conversation, and I was able to not put stress on Emma and tell her you got to take these 7 AP courses and we got to pick your college right now. I was able to paint a picture of the amazing opportunities that lie ahead of her and to show her just some little things like a simple list of what colleges look for in applicants, and to understand how something like, oh, I don't know, turning in your homework in time can really create a lot of options on the back end. Now, if you contrast this sort of wait and see approach with college planning versus what so many families do with extracurricular activities, it just doesn't add up. Why do we want to get our kids onto the best sports teams and the best clubs and find the best private tutors for music and dance and all those kinds of things when they're so young, but we say, I'm not going to do anything until we have to do something in terms of choosing a college? That doesn't make any sense for something as big and as important as this. All right, so principle number 2 is to own it. Stop waiting and start being more proactive and less reactive. Families, you do not need to wait for that mass email that comes out from your school telling you now it's time to do something. And you don't have to wait for the maybe 30-minute sit down that you have once a year with your guidance counselor. You can take steps to move this process forward. And it's not just about owning the process for students, it's about owning it and making it personal. We're trying to build the university of you, not the university of them. Just the other day, I was talking with Michael, and Michael's a great kid, and I've been working with him since he was a sophomore, and I've seen so much growth and maturity, and I am so proud of Michael. But he had all this little chirping in his head from his bros, other great kids, but they're talking to him about how the school that he wants to go to, the one he was about ready to say yes to, that's not a good school, and that's only stupid people go there, and all that kind of other stuff. And it just didn't make any sense. And I'm so proud that Michael was able to block that out, focus on what he needs and what's a good fit for him, and choose the path that worked for him. The third thing, share it. Some of the best college planning advice ever, ironically, comes from Sly and the Family Stone. It's a family affair. right? Now, I'm not in favor of helicopter parents swooping in to do all the things for Johnny and remove all the obstacles, but I'm also not in favor of this approach where I tell my kid, you know what, just pick a college and I'll write the check. Oh my gosh, this is a six-figure decision. This is the most expensive thing that most families will buy aside from their home. And this is a journey that you can share. This isn't something where you have to swoop in and do everything, but this is where you can be a part of this. And you can work together. And wouldn't that be a wonderful opportunity? I mean, our kids are getting ready to probably move out of the house and we won't see them as much anymore. And parents, not only is this a huge financial gift that we can give them, but think of all the wisdom and all the things that you could share along that path. This is like a giant baton that we are handing to the next generation. Melanie told me the other day, I'm really looking forward to working with you for our second child because with the first one, we were just butting heads all the time. She didn't want to do anything, and I'd tell her to do this or that, but I didn't really know if that made a lot of sense or if it was the right time to do that. And I guess it all worked out okay, but I really wish we could have had someone to guide us along this process so that we knew we were doing the right things at the right time and not focusing on the other things that didn't matter. Number 4, key principle for successful college planning: focus on what matters the most. Oh my gosh, there are so many distractions out there. I've visited over 135 college campuses now, and I see all these amazing dorms and cafeterias and climbing walls and lazy rivers and things like that. And they're all wonderful, but in most cases, they're nice to haves. And knowing what I need, want, don't need, and don't want from my college experience and being able to clarify that number one thing that I need to gain is really, really important. And this story was really driven home to me just recently. I went out on a couple of campus visits with our son, Joe. He's a senior and he's ready to make his final college decision. And so we're looking at college A and college B. And we visited A, and it was amazing. And we visited B, and it was amazing too. But when we started to think about the attributes and key features of both, there were some things that we were talking about for number A that really didn't need to be on the list. The food was better. The college basketball game that we went to was better. The layout of the college campus was better, those types of things. But having the power and doing the work ahead of time to know what matters the most really is going to help him make that final decision. So those 4 key principles for successful college planning, let's recap. Start early, own it, share it, focus on what matters the most. And these principles are how we approach the college planning process in College Bound Confidence community, and it's how we can help families get to their college of their dreams with less stress, less mess, and way more confidence. Download that PDF if you haven't, and I really encourage parents and students to talk about this and to apply some of these key principles and see how far you can get. Now, in the next video, I'm going to share our College Bound Confidence success path, and I can't wait to see you then.